Let's move to the Big 12 now, where Kansas secures the victory against a desperate Texas Tech team, 67-63. This was a one-possession game with about 5 minutes before this show started. And the birds were asking behind the scenes here, can Texas Tech really do this? Can they make the tournament? And
Randolph said yes.
Randolph Childress was all over it. He was like, let's see it. Right, RC?
Randolph was saying, hell no, Texas Tech is not going to no tournament. And why are we having this conversation with a 5-11 team in their conference? Like my question, Chris, when everybody was saying this, it's like, are they playing in the NBA, the Pacific Conference? They're playing with the Golden State Warriors and the Suns and the Lakers and the Clippers? Like, what the hell? Who are they playing against that you can go 5-11 and be in the tournament? Like, come on.
So you're telling me now that they're 5-12 in the Big 12, they can't make the tournament?
Yes, unless they win it.
So you're saying there's a chance.
I mean, that's just like, it's true, right? Or see, at this point, like with tonight's loss, it feels like a true statement. Had Texas Tech won tonight, I think you'd still be shaking your head saying it can't happen. And we might be like, yeah, they might be doing it.
I would have still said it, because at 6-11, I'm not saying a team that's 6-11 should be in the tournament. Like, and I'm not even, it has nothing to do with name. Rip the name off. If you go, there's no conference in the country that good that you can be 6-11 and be in the tournament. That doesn't exist.
And the other point is, if they would have finished and won tonight and then won on Saturday and they were 7-11, the NCAA has thrown out the last 10 games years ago. So, it doesn't matter if you're on a hot streak. It's a body of work. And, Randolph's right. 7-11, I know it's the best conference or one of the best conferences in the country competition-wise, but you can't include everybody in the NCAA tournament in the league.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Let's flip to the Kansas side of this quickly. They get the win, a game I think obviously they should have won anytime they're in that arena against a bubble team. You expect a Bill Self team to come out victorious. That ultimately proved true. The end of this game, I flipped it on. I was watching it as the show started. We got Jalen Wilson very, very happy, pointing to his ring finger, walking around the court. You got to respect it. Man's a champion, defending national champs. And now tonight, they clinch at minimum a share of the Big 12 regular season crown. Their final game of the regular season will be against Texas. Texas needs to beat TCU to play for their shot at a share. But you've got to admire what Kansas has been able to do. After all, they lost from last year's national championship team to put themselves right back into the picture nationally and right where they've been for 2 decades now at the top of the Big 12. I mean, what more can you say? What's your interpretation of how impressive this season has been for Kansas, Chris?
I mean, it's just it's repeated every year. I mean, the success that Coach Self and the Jayhawks have had in the Big 12 tournament. I know Baylor has been really good the last few years, but, no matter how good the league's been for the last 10 to 15 years, Kansas wins it every year, just about. So, no shock. And I'm sure when they go to Austin on Saturday, he won't want to share a Big 12 regular season title. He'll want it all for himself. And I'm sure whatever happens with the TCU game, if Texas wins, then it'll be for a share or not. And but what Coach Self has been able to do, seems like every year he loses 2 guys to the NBA and yet pulls a Grady Dick, a young player that comes out of nowhere, and they're always good.